Welcome to another episode of Ground Floor, where we can agree to disagree, still be family. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers, the special Father's episode. And this is the season 5 premiere. Wowzers. We out here in these streets. I'm your host of the title, co-host Jerome, or AK Brother Rome when he got the glasses on. Get that knowledge.
What's up, good people? Happy Father's Day. Early happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there, all the bonus fathers out there, the people playing father out there, saying the uncles, the brothers, people like that stepping up to the plate. We salute y'all.
And we got our recurring co-host. We know her since when we used to walk to school and free lunch and all that stuff was reasonable price. To now we doing great things, riding. Kia Fry. Welcome to the show, Kia.
What's up? It's another episode.
She's family in the streets. We doing it.
Yes. How's it going? What up, Romy Ron?
What's good? You good? How your juicing thing going?
Listen, life been lifing. However,
hey, you getting that get back?
life been life. I just was telling my mother that I said, "Dog, we was doing so good with the juice." I said we ain't had a chance to go and get the stuff, the beats. They switched up which one, and listen, it's been a whole thing, but it's all good.
It's all good.
I need to get some more of my apples, and I gotta lock down my beats, and I'll be good to go.
Hey, when in doubt, shout. You gotta reach out to Sonya.
Now,
she'll keep you tight.
Yeah, absolutely.
My boy Doug told me earlier about pineapple, real grapefruit. You put that in the blender, it's helping people lose weight. Y'all heard of that one?
Pineapples and grapefruit?
Yep.
That sounds about right, because grapefruit is definitely known to help you lose weight. What I've been helping people with, the losing the weight part. Well, we'll say that to the end. I'll give y'all some tips.
Yeah, but the pineapple is good for what's the anti-inflammatory and all of that good stuff. But
yeah,
I didn't know to put that together though. Like pineapple together.
Personally, I thought about that sounds like a Bahama Breeze type drink with something in it. Well, okay, juicing with it. I ain't mad at you.
Only you will start to think about
that.
I'm just saying. And on a quick serious note, prayers to all of the people that was affected by the 2 state representatives in Minnesota that was assassinated by a unfortunate person. I saw that news earlier, so prayers to all their families out there in Minnesota.
Oh wow. I haven't even
yeah, that's new news to me.
Yeah, I've been
Mom had called me about it.
So I didn't know anything about that.
He had 70 names on the list, but he was able to get them 2. I'm like, nah. And the lady and her husband were murdered. The guy was still in the hospital fighting for his life. I'm like, what the world going on? You ain't had no assassinations, Kenny. Like, y'all just doing too much, man. Go outside and look at the sky or something. Calm down.
That's crazy.
So for this Father's Day episode, similar to last year for Mother's Day, what's a favorite memory?
Favorite
memory for Father's Day?
About your father.
Father's Day or just your memory of your father?
Your father.
Okay. So that's a different question.
That is a different question.
And y'all doing the same thing you did last time.
Looking up in the sky. When you're thinking of stuff, you gotta look up in your brain. So your eyes go up here like,
Hey, you know how you take that test? And you be looking, you can't cheat. Hey, Mr. Miranda moved me away from Shannon, so I can't cheat at that point. But now I'm looking for the Lord at that point. Like, well,
bro, you ain't gonna be that honest. I remember you asked, do you get credit for writing your name?
This clown, he's gonna always try to figure it out. Like, I get 5 points for writing my name.
Hey,
I know how to do that.
They got to do that.
Man, I did any, many, money, mo. Like, it might be one of them.
Let me see. I think I was about 7, and one of the WrestleManias came to Detroit at the Joe Louis.
Okay.
And man, I remember that night like it was yesterday with the old wrestlers like Ultimate Warrior, Hulk Hogan, all of the classic folks. And I just remember like, man, like I never thought I would actually go to a match like that back then. So to see that in person, you couldn't tell me nothing. That was better than going to Disney to me.
Yeah, that's good. That's real good. I guess it'll have to be for me the same thing that we're about to do on Sunday. One of the things that my pops likes to do is he like the jalapenos. He like to stuff them, right? And so that's one of the things that we do. Get together and make a dish, right? And so that's one of his favorites. So that's that's what we kind of do together. And so that's what I asked. I asked him, I said, hey, what you want to do for Father's Day? Because I was all ready to get tickets to the Tigers game. Like, you want to go to the game or you want to do something else? He was just like, no, I want some jalapeno. I'm like, jalapeno. I said, oh, okay, so hey, that's what he asked for. Got to make it happen. So I went to Randazzo and that's what I got. So I'm like, okay, well, let me get the rest of the stuff for it. And so the one thing that I can say about him is instead of like gifts and flash, like he don't really care. He don't care nothing about going out, like doing something special for him or surprising him with stuff. He could not care less. But if it's about us spending time together doing something, he all for it. So all he care about is you coming through. We about to spend time together. So that's what he said. He's like, I just want some jalapenos, some stuffed jalapenos, and us to chill. Well, I can make that happen. That saves me a lot of money. Thank you, Father.
Hey, you like simple enough, Pops. I got you.
Simple enough. I got you. Yep. So I'm like clearing the calendar. It's me and you, babe. Like this is what we're about to do.
Yeah,
so
that's
we're gonna go through and chill. He probably gonna try to put something on the either movie on the surround sound or either some music, because that's what he gonna do. And so we'll do that. So
okay, that's dope. And prayers to all the people whose fathers are not here.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I'm
one of them. I lost my pops at an early age of 10, and so I always tell everybody, I understand the struggles of the young men and what you go through when you lose that iconic figure, and that leader. You go through whatever you go through. Some people, that's how I understand how cats can go into street mode, because you don't have that positive male figure there. It's kind of like you got a lot of avenues as a young man, especially a young black man, and a lot of times the streets is the ones that's winning, because that looks like love to you. They're like, hey, we want you to be a part of our gang, our crew. So you end up, going down that path, or some people end up going down other paths. But you also see people just holding in anger, and they end up getting into a lot of fights based off of that, and everything. So when you have lack of those positive male role models, that's the OGs in the families or friend of the families, sometimes people can take a wrong path. And I definitely understand, the lack of that leader, that iconic figure can, take people down a dark path. But those that lost those loved ones, keep your head up. That pain never goes away. The memories of that person never goes away. But hopefully through prayer, hopefully through great friendships, through loved ones, you can get through and maintain over the years.
Yeah, I know my first single I released years ago, Autobiography. I thought about the Temptation. That was the first thing I wrote, January 6, 91. But, I ain't rap because I wasn't smoking weed no more. So when I rapped it, they was like, stuff you talking about so deep, Jeff, you gotta come hard. And I'm like, this supposed to be like a gospel track. Oh, what are you talking about? So about a third time, them cats called me. You sounded corny, Jeff. We don't want you like that. I'm like, wait, I'm from Detroit. Who the hell you talking to? Then I thought to myself, they want Pac without the cussing, Jeff. That's what they want. All right, press play. We're gonna play now. So when you ever listen to that song, the first verse, I was upset. Like, you gonna put respect on my name. I calmed down by the other two verses. First verse, like, okay, you want the yet? Yeah, now, all right, come on. We're gonna play. But my fondest memory is back in the 80s, everybody had the numbers, man. And whenever my dad would hit, he would take us up to the corner store and we buy what we wanted. And that's when Fago pop was 50 cents, chips like a quarter. Candy, when the candy bar was like that big, not like this now, that big, 30 cents. You crashing out. Like, y'all both all got $5. I'm like, $5? I'm about to be slutting with this junk food. I'm getting honey bun, I'm getting Fritos, we all have a bag full of stuff. And we'd just be having that family time moment like, damn, pretty cool. You hit for like 500. Then mom's like, I know you spent all the money. I want mine. I'm like, what the hell? He like, one be quiet. I already got your boy put aside. Leave me alone with the kids. I was cracking up like, y'all married people crazy. Now I get it. Now you get older. We got to take care of the wife too. Not just the kids. Well, y'all wonder what Jeff's so crazy. Hey, you had to be in the Edwards household, man, because trash talking and all that was there. What's something, and I guess since you're here, you can represent them people, Jerome. Given you didn't have a dad coming up, what's something that you aspire to do since you had a child?
Man, that's a really great question. I would say the first thing I wanted to do that I seen that I can remember. I never remember my dad talking to me about any type of faith-based anything. You know, I don't know if he didn't believe in God or what his thoughts were. You know, so I always wanted to basically pick his brain on that because I never knew what his thoughts were. So when I had my kids, I always wanted them to know, you know, who is the God that I serve, you know, and let them get a chance to know the Lord for themselves. You know, my son is 5, my daughter's 13. So I remember, I want to say it was 5th grade, 6th grade. And she was like, you know, she was like, give me a scripture, you know, something that I can know that I should be doing or whatever. So I took her to the honor that mother and father. And when she said that, she said, whoa, that's in the Bible? You should have seen her face. Like she couldn't believe that, man. That was like the best reaction ever.
That's classic.
So that was one of the things. Another thing that my dad did with me, to me, he was the smartest man that I personally knew. You know, even to this day, like you could take a Rubik's Cube and he would be able to complete it in like 30 seconds, no matter how many.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, how many times you mixed it up, he would be able to be like, oh, like man, that's I'm looking at him like this dude. I used to look at him like, what is this? This dude a transformer or something? How you know how to get? I never, to this day, I still can't get those Rubik's Cubes.
Dude, took me 2 hours to do it once.
Yeah, I think I did it one time in my lifetime, and I'd never be able to get that again. But I would say just spending time with my children, because he definitely, I used to go there after school and things. Showing your love, you know, as best you can, and expressing it as best you can. Because I feel like when I was coming up, man, the older people in my family, especially on my mom's side, like my granddad, my group, they couldn't say I love you, even on their deathbeds. They wouldn't. Their generation saying "I love you" was soft, and so I never wanted to be afraid. Cause I told y'all on here, the generations back in like the 30s and the 20s, their generation is called the silent generation. They kept a lot of things in, and so their feelings for the men was one of them. And once I didn't see a lot of men expressing how much they love their kids, which my dad, he used to say, "I love you." I made sure I tell my kids I love them every day, in the morning, through the day, at night, because to be honest, we don't know if we got the next moment, let alone the next day. And so, actually saying it means a lot to me, and it has meant a lot to them. I see, it's nothing like coming home from work and they run into the door every day. Like my wife don't run to the door. She's not thinking about me she ain't running to the door, but your kids, they running to the door. You know what I'm saying? They running to the door, giving you a hug and everything. So that means a lot, man.
Yeah, dads are heroes. That's why they run into the door.
Yeah. I feel that.
This dude says, "Yeah,
like I'm a hero.
My kids love me."
She love your raggedy tail too.
Oh, man.
Hey, she look like, all right.
Crazy.
All right. I mean, I'm not a dad. I had a few miscarriages, but I did help raise my nephew, Khalil, that was unfortunately murdered a few years ago, before I went to college. And he used to do the weirdest stuff. He wouldn't just go straight to bed. You have your bed, you're like, okay, don't go over there, you're going to fall in the sand. He just had to find out. He bumped his head, started crying like, "Did I just tell you don't take your butt over there?" Then he go to sleep. And then, unfortunately, this will give y'all something to laugh at. I don't know if Jerome might remember this. I used to have to put him to sleep by singing New Edition Home Again when we had tapes. The entire he'd be in a light sleep. We get to like track 12. Okay, I stop. Put it out like, dog, that ain't 12. I'm like, do he know how many songs there is? Damn. So one time we was going out. You probably remember this. You, Corey, 40 Cats was in the front. And he wouldn't go to sleep. My sister like, "Yeah, you put him to sleep." I'm like, oh my God. The fellas here, no, they gonna have the jokes. Come on, man. Just please, like, Jeff, love the kids. So I heard your voice out of everybody. Is that dude back there singing? Oh, this old honeysuckle dude singing.
Hey, why the dude got to bring me up on here? See what I'm saying?
All the time.
Because it was you. You was the first one. Then I heard everybody start cracking jokes. And y'all crack jokes half the night.
Oh.
I never get that night. Like, my sister down laugh like, "You weren't lying." Like, I know my boys. They going to have the joke. The gun is cocked. Just come on to the front, Jack. We got them for the night. Then my ex-fiance had a kid. That was a brief moment that she gave me a gift, and it felt awkward because, I mean, Jared Conner Edwards ain't out here, so I ain't like. Then it had a dawn on me. You're gonna marry her, dude. You're gonna be a stepdad, so technically, she's not wrong for getting you a gift. Like, oh, okay. I guess it's cool. So I look forward one day where I can have that true experience.
Yeah, if you never get rich in real life, the kids will make you feel rich. Yeah.
Feel that.
Yeah.
Where to go next with this thing?
Look at this, man. I know you ain't come on here freestyling without writing something down.
I wrote a few things down.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. You sit up here, where to go next? You ready to look at that sheet over there to figure this out?
He just don't want to go there. That's the thing.
Maybe you can be a co-host. You do something. But you just sass me out of the like he just.
I think we need to go ahead and settle this on the court. We need to settle this on the court. That's what we can do.
He said, settle this on the court.
Hey, I lost 12 pounds, so I'm going to
Oh,
the
hey.
black door.
That dude might get his quickness back. Okay.
When you hear that, don't fight. Don't fight. That's just me.
Hey, you know, Ken was the biggest cheerleader in everything we did out there.
Yeah.
Basketball, football.
Yeah.
That's true.
No, go ahead, man. I'm messing with
you. What's a regret by your father not being around?
Man, you got some real good questions. Boy, this dude get digging in the bag here, kid.
Yeah.
I would have to say I'm one of those that don't like to live with regret, but I would say I think the biggest regret for me is just not having that time, you know. Losing when you lose your dad at that young of an age, it's kind of, you feel like you've been robbed or shortchanged in a sense, like dang, like I can't be like everybody else, get to go at least graduation from high school, you know what I'm saying? And I guess, you know, they'd also taught me at that young age that value people while they're here, because you just never know how long that mother, that father, that uncle, that aunt, that grandmother, that grandfather, that sister, that brother will be around. And so I would say that's the biggest regret, man. Just feeling like I needed more time, you know, like I didn't get to learn manhood from them and ask more questions. And, you know, hey, Pops, you like this? You know, with the style, like, hey, man, should I wear this to prom? This color, you like this color? Man, no, that ain't, you know, I ain't get to have those type of things and chop it up about sports like that. So those are the things that I regret. But I will say I don't live my life on what they call it in grieving states, bargaining, the shoulda, coulda, woulda.
Okay.
You know, I look at it like, hey, his name was called, and I leave it at that. But I'm saying if you asking a direct question like that, that's my regret.
Okay, mine would be 2. Because as I got older, through his health issues, he couldn't really talk well, but being around him, you understand him. So even now, sitting on, like, I can't remember hearing him say, I love you. He may have said it, but they would had him when he was younger. You could hear his actual voice and a conversation. You know, when I separated at 21, I hung out with the homies. We came out retirement, hookah, weed, drank, all that. But it would have been more cool if me and him could have had a conversation about life stuff. So I would say that. Now, I was watching the replay I did on my interview show when associate pastor and fellow squad member Corey Mason blessed us last year with a Bible study about fatherhood. And he said something in the episode I had to write down and I posted everywhere. You don't know the man you need to be until faced with the opportunity. I'm like, damn. I know on the show I said a bar, like, damn, that's some deep stuff. So what type of situations have you experienced so far as a father that you had to step to the challenge?
Well, it seemed like, let's just say, starting with the birth, it was always something, man. People take these pregnancies for granted, for the ladies out there. It's man, you really shout out to all the women out there, because what women have to endure to go through the labor process and the pregnancy process, it's a lot, man. Yeah. That's why I tell people, the best gift you could give your wife, girlfriend, baby mama, even if you don't really like the baby mom, she's carrying your seed. Send a spa card over there for her to get her foot massage at the little place or whatever, because they feet swell up in that 3rd trimester, all of that stuff. So we, when my daughter was born, prior to her being born, we think of natural birth, and everybody kept saying, hey, y'all gonna have a big one. You sure you want to do natural? This, I'm like, hey, we're gonna go natural. Boom. Next thing you know, they're like, hey, the baby's head is crowning. I'm like, what is that? What? I don't know. I said, I got family that's in this medical field. What y'all talking about? What is the crowning? I'm thinking like y'all about to put a crown on her head. What are we talking about? So the lady's like, no, sir. That means like, so I started thinking like the movie Conehead, trying to come down that canal. I'm like, I told the lady, I said, listen, lady, we ain't that pressed about natural. Do the C-section. I don't have time for all this. So then she was like, well, we got to do the epidural, and then, you know, she got to sign it. I was like, hey, I can sign it. She can sign it. Let's just get it going. So we had to do an emergency C-section, you know, and it went from, you know, like a little scare to like being up the next, like, I think it was 3-4 hours. And the dads is more beat than the moms. That's how I was looking. I was like, man, good thing I have my fro. I was in there looking rough, man. And when she was born, it was like, Father, you want to come over here so you can take a picture of the weight? And I'm looking at the thing like, you almost looking at it like an alien at that point, like, whoa, this is my child. So you go from a scare to actually having a baby born. That's how you see the person having those emotions. So by her being in that emergency room, it was kind of like a moment of so real. She couldn't even hold her because she was so cold. So they had to keep putting the little blankets on her. And I just remember putting her next to her, and the tear rolled down from her face. And I was just like, whoa, like this is real now. And that's when it got real for me. And I was like, okay, I guess the rest of this time, I got to really get it. I thought I was grinding, but I wasn't grinding like on that mode. That's when then I realized like, this is what it's all about. And so I had the same experience with my, when my son was born in 2019, we knew he was doing a C-section with him, but they kept telling me like, hey, her blood pressure is elevated. You know, could you get her to calm down? And I'm like, oh boy, like, I'm like, let me see if I can get her to calm down, you know, but she really didn't calm down. And I think it was just the anxiousness. My mother-in-law was not here. My sister-in-law is not here. So I think she was just thinking of the support system, and her head was racing. And so I'm thinking about him being born, but at the same time, I'm trying to look back at her. And so when I seen him, I'm like, man, but you know, these babies, if you like my family, we have these big babies. So I tell everybody, like, be careful what you ask for. You know, that dude you might like might have some family traditions where them babies gonna be almost 9-pounders, 10-pounders. You got football sized babies coming out. And my daughter was 8 pounds 9 ounces. She was 2 days past her due date. My son, they told us to come in early because they thought he was gonna be like 10 pounds. He ended up being 8 pounds 10 ounces. So, you know, both of them was a blessing. I think that fatherhood for me, every day bring a new challenge. And, you know, it's funny because they come to you, they seek your advice, they seek your counsel. And I think you just have to know as a parent their personality. Because like I was telling y'all here one time, if I yell at my daughter, I'll break her. You know what I'm saying? So I have to talk to her. I can't yell. Like no matter what it is, I got to just be like how we are right now. The moment octaves go up, she's done. Tears, she's not processing none of it, you know? And so it's just, I always say you got to know when to come in like a hammer and when to come in like a feather. That's my take.
Okay. And Kia, how has your father shaped the type of man you eventually will follow one day?
That's an excellent question. He has shaped it in so many ways. Like I absolutely adore the relationship that we have. My father and I didn't have a great relationship, you know, as I was younger and during the teenage years, because there were some growing pains, right? There were some things that that we both had to go through. And I think the most amazing experience that I had was when I put myself in his shoes and tried to understand what it was like being a 18, 19-year-old husband and father, and what that would have entailed. And so for me now being an older at the time when all of this took place, you know, being an older woman and really looking at it and not being able to put myself in his shoes, I was able to see the sacrifice, right? See the struggle, see the stress, see all of the things that he had to encompass, especially not really knowing what to do. When we think about 18, 19-year-old young men now and what that looks like and stepping up to the plate, um, it really allowed me to have more honor and respect for him and the things that he had to endure, and me understanding like he had to grow as well, being still a baby in a sense, right? Stepping into such an adult role and how you would make mistakes along the way. So instead of me looking at him and faulting him for the, you know, the things that he had done and the things that he had to learn, I was able to appreciate the person that he is and the things that he had to go through. And then so me also seeing him transition as you get older, you grow and hopefully you mature, right? And him being able to verbalize the mistakes that he made along the way, and so us being able to repair our relationship. And so going through now, I truly understanding that, and I wouldn't have it any other way, right? And so there was a lot of things that I had to go through, grow through as well. And so now, like you said, how does that shape the the
The
man
man.
I would have in my life and the man that
Mhm,
I will follow, right?
mhm.
So with that, I always look for integrity and how are you able to have accountability for where you are and where you're going, right?
Mhm.
Are you able to be accountable for the decisions that you've made, be them um be them right, or be you failing forward, right? Are you able to be accountable for that? It also has allowed me to be able to understand that I don't have to do everything, right? And I am able to allow myself to be led, right? And I am and just understanding, having grace and understanding that people aren't perfect and people make mistakes, but as long as you're responsible and accountable, you'll be able to, you know, step into that role. And I'm more apt to follow and understand as I know that that person is a person of integrity and accountability, right? Like if you can't ever accept responsibility for anything that you've done, then you don't really allow room for growth. And how can I be led if you can't even accept that I don't always get things right and sometimes I'm going to fail? However, if you allow me to make up for my mistakes, then I'm here and I'm going to do the things that needed to be done. So it allowed me to be able to understand grace, understand forgiveness, being able to step into that role. Thank you. Being able to, you know, being able to uh just understand forgiveness and time. And sometimes people people you have to allow people room to grow. And I think so many times we hold people as such sticklers, you know what I'm saying? We're not able to forgive. It's like this is what you did and this and that. But when you start to put yourself in other people's shoes, then you can start to see maybe you might would have made some of the same decisions or mistakes, right? But we don't. There's no perfect person. There's no roadmap when it comes to being a parent, and so a lot of times people just pray that they can get it right and they fumble along the way. But I think that that's the main thing. It allowed me to be able to understand forgiveness and understand patience and understand allowing people to repair relationships. And I think that we don't get that. So that's why I have a lot more patience and space for people when they do when certain things are done. So, but yeah, so it allowed me. I can't, I got a lot of, patience for my people. Now you ain't gonna get down, you know what I'm saying? And you ain't doing all that. But however, you know what I mean. I understand that we aren't perfect and we make mistakes and and failure isn't a bad thing. Sometimes we need to fail in order to be able to grow. And so, but yeah, now we're tighter than ever. So I'm truly able to understand what that looks like.
Okay. It's for both of you. When do you realize the importance of having both the mother and father in your life?
Oh, that's good. I rock for that all day. Like I'm a big advocate for people having both of their parents, right? I think so many times people get so caught up in, mama's boy, daddy's girl, or whatever the case may be. And I see a lot of single parent households. And so we think that I just really think when you start thinking about biblical principles, right? God had the perfect plan and always does. And men and women are so important in a child's life, right? There are certain things like, yes, being a woman, having your mother in your life, you know how to carry yourself and things like that. But having a father in your life is so important as well, because just like the question that you just asked me, like, how do you know what type of partner that you will want to have? Well, being a woman and having a father in your life, it plays such a big role. That's the first person who teaches you about love and how you should be treated by the opposite sex, right? And so it's important. And that's the same thing that I say about men needing their fathers as well as their mothers. Like both, it's a different dynamic, and you get to learn what the other how the other part plays and what role that they play, and I think it's important. I don't think that we should be shrugging off well, I got my dad, so I'm good. When it's a guy, or I got my mama, so I'm straight. Like, no, like families need both, because they bring each partner brings each player rather brings play and plays such an important role in your life. And there's certain things that you just don't get when you only have one or the other.
Jerome?
Yeah. That was good. I think what Kid said is really good, because the mothers typically is going to be the nurturer of the home, probably the cook of the home most times. And in my case, my parents weren't ever married, so I think my dad was with us up till about 5. And then after that, he was in a different home and we were there. But you need that. You like kids said, you gotta have both sides. You gotta get both dynamics. Like, because the reality of it is, you may end up being closer with cousins on one side or the other based on the relationships and how that family dynamic is. So it's one of those things where it's really good for you to know, both parents, because Detroit is big, but yet so small.
Ooh, come on now. That's
I,
one to
I,
be your
I can tell
cousin.
you, and Jeff, you could attest to this. I took you down there several times to my cousins.
Oh Lord, not Wahlberg.
It was funny, but it was sad. I used to have to ask girls if we went down to the Rock, to Belle Isle, or the Riverfront and Hart Plaza. And, what I'm saying? Oh, can I get your number? Whoa. What's your last name? What, you know what I'm saying? Like, now I'll be sounding like a creep, but that was just my reality. Because the last thing I want to do is show up at that dang cookout and be like, come on now. That's your dad? Why you ain't say that? You know what I'm saying? Like, now it's like you can't get back. So I feel like, you know, the dynamics of family structure is good because you got to know the good, the bad. Some people say the indifferent or the ugly. You know,
yes.
you got to know both sides. You know, like Kia said, there's people out here, man, you know, F him, F her. But at the end of the day, it's like one day we can only hope you'll be able to have that heart to heart with that person and really see what's going on. You know, if that person went down, like I look at Pac, for instance, for him to go through all he went through and then to make the song that still reigns to this day on Mother's Day, Dear Mama.
Dear Mama,
You know, even though you was a crack fiend, mama, you were always was a black queen.
Black
I mean,
queen,
you know how many older people, parents, like, hey, I remember people just used to take it upon themselves to stop me and say, young man, I don't listen to a lot of this jibber jabber y'all listen to. But that's what they used to say. They used to say, but that song you just played, they would say that song you just played, I listened to him. What's his name?
Yeah.
And then I would give them the artist. And it was all, they didn't do that with Biggie. They didn't do that with any of them other artists.
Nope.
But they always asked me about who I was listening to when I was listening to a Pac song. So he touched people in a different way, man. And I just feel like that's how the dynamics of the father and the mother, even if they're in different homes, you got to have both dynamics. You know, you was brought into this world by those two. So you had an opportunity to try to have that conversation like Kid did. You got to have that opportunity to, I can see, you know, and she said something key. Put yourself in their shoes and try to get a better understanding. Because sometimes we so caught up on, you know, what we see. You're not seeing it from a different lens. And so that's my take on it, bro.
Okay. Well, coming up in a two-parent household and people I would encounter that didn't, you definitely see the dichotomy that people face, because to me it's an epidemic, especially in our Black community with our women, because unfortunately, oh, she had to step away, no problem.
Yeah, she'll be back.
But unfortunately, if they slept with someone they thought was going to be a cool person and he went left and he ain't trying to be bothered with the kid, they try to overcompensate by trying to take on male characteristics so they can give the child a mother and father. And in doing that, that's making them become more masculine, altering their true DNA of being a feminine woman. So when they do get the kid through school and everything, and they might meet the one made for them, it's a task for them to let go of that male counterpart they had felt they needed to create, was make them start feeling more alpha and all this, and their way works, so they might not be too quick to follow your way because they got their kid through high school. So to them, good, bad, and different work, but it is not the natural order that God made of God, husband, spouse. I mean, it's a reason he made him the head over and to nurture the family to make sure it's right. Unfortunately, you got some out here that suckers that don't want to do their part. And we have that where stats say a single mother home is a lot of the young men that's in prison because they're looking for that father figure in the streets and so happily to use them for their gain, but give them that love. And it's only until they get in that cell and they close and they have nothing but the silence, they start realizing them gangs and drug dealers really didn't love me. They just saw I needed a father figure and I'd be a useful tool to sell whatever they're trying to do so they can make money. They weren't trying to say, you know what, I want you going to trade or go to college or start a business. I'm going to help you. They more looking at how you put bread in their pocket. And that's the unfortunate part of it. So it's a lot of beautiful women out here that are unfortunate single mothers that take on that trying to overcompensate. And it's a task for them to start washing away that male side they felt they needed to try to do for that kid. which adds to a lot of the issues within the Black community. Because you look historically during the time of the civil rights, Black families weren't married than now. No, you was an outcast. Like you ain't got a wife, family you holding down. Or you just out here being Jody, hitting everything. Oh, you a sucker. You ain't no man. But now, up is down. When you see videos, I don't need no man around. I'm glad I'm not married. They're saying like, no, that kid need both. Because you're a nurturing part. Oh, okay. Bring it back up. You're a nurturing part, and he might be the one to give that structure. So by all these unfortunate, misguided people making social media videos, dissing marriage, or I don't need a man, that kid need both. You might not feel it, but they need that leadership from both of you. Because man and woman bring something different to the table. And that's cool. That's how God made it. But if you're thinking, I don't need no man at all, if you don't put that kid in some type of sports or mentoring program where he can get that to be around other masculine kids and start learning the way you are, you're not weird, you got a lot of energy, but this is how you challenge something positive. You're going to add to that statistic of going to jail if you have a single mother. And they're not saying they ain't doing the best they can, but without that hard line in the sand being that father, because we came up, and I don't think it changed now. Yeah, you talk all that jibber jabber to your mom, but when dad get home, oh, he did what? He called you what? Okay, don't worry, we're gone. Matter of fact, here, baby, take some money, go and get something. I got this. It's gonna be a totally different person when that kid, when you come home. Because he understood what tough love is. The Bible says, spare the rod, spare the kids. What you doing? If I said it right. It's okay to whoop your kid. Don't beat them like a slave. That is wrong. But when they get out of line, you need to let them know you crossed the line, then explain to them why you got that consequence so you can be better. And with them not listening to the old school, because even though my dad went around, thankfully God put so many different people that taught me what you should do. Now I later learned they didn't do it, but they did tell me the good information on, well, if you want to be a good dude, this is what you're supposed to do. And now, like, you try to pass it, man, get out my face all the time. Like, they're like, man, bump it. You're young. You hit your head against the wall and figure it out. But we be at the barbershop, we come in contact. My godfather went to the stove, might stop by his crib that I'm in now. And we'd chop it up on light stuff for 5 hours. Like, dang. And those moments was molding me to be a decent dude to where I could pay it forward. You know? My little take.
Man.
Now, you got something to say, brother?
No, I was gonna say, man, that was good. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, you talking smack earlier, like, man, you just came here with nothing on the paper.
Oh, Lord, have mercy.
I can't be too serious too long. I just no. I gotta be wild and I gotta be Malcolm and I gotta be wild. I gotta balance it out.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Can't be too serious
He
too
said, oh, okay.
I got you.
Mm-hmm. Now, since this is Mental Health Month for men, and we acknowledge it now, how has that helped men be better fathers, in your opinion?
You asked Jerome?
Well, I knew Key was gonna throw it to me.
No, I wasn't. I
No.
thought you had something right there on your
No. I'll say. I think now, Black men in particular are more conscious of how important mental health really is. I think a study came out a couple of months ago. It said that men need 2 days out of the week with their buddies, you know, whether they playing video games with them, go out to drink, something like that. Now, that doesn't mean that they get a chance to go and do that and things like that. But they saying that that's what the guys who's really feeling like they mentally sound and stable are the ones who's going out at least twice a week. Nothing malicious. We talking good guys. And I was like, dang, you know, that makes sense, you know. because the guys I have in my circle, from Jeff to Snipes to Lowe's, Lim, everybody's doing something to keep themselves mentally sound, you know, and, you know, we all either, you know, read our books, but we have our time away from our families, you know. So, some people working out, some people play basketball. Everybody's doing this, and some people may even, you know, be talking to their therapists and everything on a regular basis. And I was just in a situation like that recently, and like, oh, it's okay. I said, hey man, I don't want to be here when you having your, you know, because it was virtual. He's like, no, it's okay. And I'm sitting up there doing my work while they, and it was just like, I just was like respected it that he brought me in his world. I would have never known that he was talking to a therapist, you know, where I was at on that day. And I was just working, and I was just like, wow, for him to, I'm over here, he doing his thing, we eating lunch, and he was doing it virtually. So that's how important it is. The whole virtual thing took off once we went through the COVID, because I'll be honest with you, we would have went another year. I was going to be talking to a therapist again. That about took me up out of here. The only thing saved me during COVID was when they came out with the verses. Thanks to Swiss and Tampa for coming out with that verses, because that was something I looked forward to that was unique and it was different. You know, outside of people praying and all of that, I'm talking about something that's fun, something that you can actually do that was like a social engagement. And how many people you would see coming in there and comment, and DJ D Nice doing his little sets with the little DJ. That stuff right there is what really got me through that 2020. So I think that mental health is really important, because, you know, all it takes is, Tyler Perry just came out with the movie Straw. And I ain't gonna say nothing, but I'm just saying, it's people in places where all it takes is one thing to happen, and it'll take you from one side of the fence to the other. And you never know what that is. It could be something, you know, like, you know, your children. It could be, you know, your job. It could be the law system and the injusticeness. So it's a lot of stuff out there that you just got to stay mentally sound, and make sure you mentally stable, especially those of us that's, you know, fathers out here, bonus dads, that's playing that positive male role model, whether you're a coach or something like that. Because some people, you may not have kids, but you do have kids. You're getting kids every year because you coaching them kids up. They look to you as a dad. They might have lost their dad, don't know their dad. And so even those individuals have some serious leadership roles, and those kids that they mold in that moment. So I would say being mentally sound is key. So you got to do what's necessary to stay sound and stable.
Absolutely. Listen, you hit that. I was like, oh, tag me in, right? So, you know, one of the things that's real important to me, I don't know if y'all get it by now, but I say it every week that we come on. I rock with y'all all day, men, all day long. One of the things that you all do that I have noticed is suffering in silence and thinking that you have to take everything on because I'm a man, right? All the extra macho. I think now it's starting to be more socially acceptable to being vulnerable, to sharing emotions, to seeking therapy, right? To taking care of your mental health, to having self-care days. Like all of that stuff is really important. And I'm an advocate for y'all in doing so, because when you all are stronger, we all are stronger. And you know, society as a whole, I think is better when men are better, right? And so with that, yeah, I think mental health is important. And I think that we still got a whole lot of work to do. Like we just starting to break the surface on that, and men starting to say, okay, yeah, I think I need to go and talk to somebody. I really feel like, you know, none of us need to suffer in silence. And I think more men need to seek outside counsel and therapy to be able to deal with things from childhood Like a lot of people come from broken childhoods, a lot of trauma in their childhood, and just don't address it. It's like, oh, I just keep going on day in and day out. And so what happens is I see that not only are they affected, but then the relationships they have are impacted and affected as well. You know, especially when you are able to communicate your feelings or communicate what's going on, your partner feels the brunt of that, right? And so yeah, so I'm a big advocate for men, for you all being heard, being seen, um and sharing what's there, and not thinking that you have to be yeah, you strong, you know what I mean? And it doesn't make you weak because you go and talk to somebody. You know what I mean? So I think it's very important. And like I said, I really, really, truly believe like when you all are better and we all are better, just like when we better, y'all better. You know what I mean? So it's just that constant cycle, and we're all intertwined. And yeah, so I don't like all that men versus women stuff, because we need each other. And yeah, so I really think that mental health is so important. And when you all are stronger mentally, then it allows you to be able to lead and provide more effectively.
That is true.
That was good.
I mean, I noticed you see the temperature of men nowadays are changing on stuff they post when they want to get real. I was watching a clip of Cam Newton Freaky Friday.
Of who?
That's the name of his show.
No, say it again. I didn't hear all of it.
Yeah, Cam Newton Freaky Friday. He
had Cam Newton. Okay. Yeah.
He had the actor, I can't think his name off, but he played when Mary J was on Ghost. He was the oldest son helping them sell drugs.
Got you.
And he was telling how when he was in acting school, the teacher had him not look at the people and off top, what do y'all think of him? And they were saying a lot of mean, thug, this type of stuff to him, whatever. Then he turned around, started greeting people, turned back around again, and they were saying, oh, he's a good guy. He was this. And he was saying since he's had kids, that made him realize the roles he's taking. He want to be more, pay more attention to that. So he ain't known as, oh, you that killer that was in Power Ghost show. Because he don't want his kids to be seeing that. I'm like, man, that's deep, but he started looking at that. He had to step away for a minute because it seemed like he was trying to say on how, as a man and the stuff you deal with, how you're seen affects you. I'm assuming that's where he was trying to go before he had to go recompose himself. And it's true, because we don't think about that. Even when I started this, or restarted back in 21, and I went from interview show to the sports and now this one, I was doing it, but not looking at it like, okay, you need to make this an LLC because all these are middle ground spinoff shows. And people feedback was like, you know, it's a lot of hate in the world. A lot of people don't believe in hope and stuff, but the product you're putting out is giving people that. So it made me one start noticing people are watching what you're doing. And now you made this LLC, so you ain't no one important, but you somewhat of a figure people are looking at. So you got to watch what you putting out in the world, so you ain't doing the same other people doing, throwing more trash out there. Are you putting stuff that's going to edify and help people? And throw a little funny stuff out there compared to all the other stuff out here. Like, man, we ever heard 5 people got shot there. You had to put that out there too. So it made me start looking at that more, that we're talking about mental health and men are starting to understand they're not a robot. You have emotions. You do need to talk about this stuff because at some point you're going to crash out, as they say now. And they're like, he was such a nice person, but you don't know, one more thing happened. I'm going to give to everybody. Like, dang, he went to the job and flipped out. Like, We didn't know that he was having all these problems. He would say, "How did everybody do a job?" And he just came back with a bed swing on everybody. Like, what the hell? They looking at you weird, but they don't know your internal turmoil that you're dealing with. That a lot of men, unfortunately, have been dealing with. And some still think, nah, man, ain't supposed to cry. Like, dude, it's going to come out either the right way and unpack it, or it's going to come out the wrong way. But you got to deal with it. Just keeping it bottled up ain't going to be good for you. It's coming out. You know, I don't know who it is that can say the unfortunate right word to trigger you to say, oh, that's a bridge too far. We crashing on now. Instead of Jesus take the wheel, devil take the wheel. And you just like, oh, they did what? Damn. So it's good we start to talk about it now. What's the lesson y'all learned from your dad?
Ooh, that was good. For me, you know, we live so close to Canada, being in the D right there. You just don't realize that that's another country when you're a young kid. Mm-hmm. And I remember this day like it was yesterday. And I had to be 5 or 6. And my dad told me, he said, if you ever come to Canada, make sure you, when they say, you know, what's your citizenship, you say U.S. And he said, if they ask you, you know, multiple questions, he said, answer the question, never get angry, never get upset, remain calm. And I'm thinking, like, what is he talking about? Like, why is he telling me this? And then later that day when we went over there to eat, we hanging out, we come back, and he said, if you ever get pulled over, make sure you do the same thing. You remain calm, you respond the same way. Mm-hmm. And to this very day, I look at it like a prophetic message for that day, because you look at the times we in, look at how many people have lost their lives over things, people who have complied and those who haven't complied. And I've been pulled over from Michigan to Tennessee to Kentucky. And what I learned is, if you go in this thing, you know, with a lot of animosity, you starting out where, you know, 1 or 2 cars is going to go to 20, and it's just going to escalate things. So that advice he gave me, I kept that dear at that young age, and I use that to this very day. And I'll be passing that on to my son and daughter, that, you know, now we got technology. As soon as you about to get pulled over, you call me. I don't care if you got to keep rolling until I'm right there. But it's just one of those things where they're going to know what to do when you get pulled over. They're not going to be the one hostile and being disrespectful to the officer, no matter how old they are, younger or older than them. You will show respect, you know, and, you know, do what they, you know, saying, hey, ID, boom, boom, boom. Because my thing is, they trying to get home, you trying to get home. And obviously my dad knew that. And like I said, I look at it as a prophetic thing, because all the things that happened over the last, 15 years. We only have to go back further than that, but 15 years. And it's just been, you know, time and time again. And I always look at that and say, man, he seen, he knew something for him to tell me that. And so I just kept that dear to heart. So that's something that's true to this day. I still keep it dear to heart.
I love that. Temperament, right? Temperament. So for me, my dad taught me quite a few things. Number one is understanding and knowing about cars and vehicles, right? That's one of the things that I hold true. As a little girl, understanding the difference between the sockets and all of those different things when it came to the wrench set and all of that. So I never had an issue when it came to somebody playing me when it came to the cars, because he always, that's his passion, and he kind of shared that with me. So that was the one thing. But another thing he taught me is how to fight, right? So not just physically, but to fight for love, to fight for relationships, real relationships, to make sure that you fight for those that you care about. So that was another thing that that he taught. And he also taught me the power of forgiveness and reconciliation. And I think that's the biggest one. Like, just because things aren't great doesn't mean that it can't be repaired. And so that's a lesson that I'll be forever grateful for, because I believe that all things can be fixed with a conversation. And so that came through our love for one another. So that's what he taught me.
For me, my dad taught me consistency and helpful. The first one I remember as a kid, even though as his health started getting bad, he didn't have his church no more. But every Sunday, we washed up, got dressed, and we had service. And we did that until his health got to where he couldn't do it no more. And then my big bro neighbor Don had told me once that my dad, he had a fencing company, so all the fences on my block he put up. And when he was the block club president, he would barbecue for the neighborhood. But he had one rule. If you got a plate, you got to stay for the sermon he's going to do. I was like, I never heard a story about my dad for real. Like, yeah, your dad was definitely, if you thought he might get mean on something, he didn't play about that. You eat whatever you want, but you're going to stay and hear this word from God. Eat all you want, but you're going to stay for that too. I'm like, okay. So consistent be helpful.
That's good.
Health. What y'all got about health today?
I'm thinking myself. I'll let you go, Jeff.
Okay. I got me being journalist, Jeff, on it. Kobe. I don't know. Look, Magic Man.
We got to think about ours for the moment.
Okay. Well, for me, is back when I had my health issue, March, my A1C was 15.4, blood sugar was 879. And since got on a meal prep regimen, my junk food is peanuts. I went to check it with my doctor. They took my blood middle of May. And it went from 15.4 to 8.2. And I lost 12 pounds so far. It's supposed to be like around 5 or 6. If you go past that, you pre or diabetic, whatever. That's my health.
Great work.
Man, that's good, bro. That's real good. Keep up the good work.
Yeah, that's excellent.
Yeah. I would say right now, what I'm personally doing is just making, they always say you are what you eat. So I'm making more lifestyle changes when it comes to what I eat. So I'm in sales and I drive a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So I always tell people that most of the restaurants that have a drive-through is not good for you.
You ain't lying.
So the ones that is good for me, I gotta park the car, get out. So every time I want to get that convenient, I'm like, is this convenience gonna cost me? And so if it's nothing good that I can go through and get through that drive-through, like a smoothie, the nice little healthy smoothies you can go get, the juice, things like that, the chicken and the rice, opposed to a whole bunch of fried foods. So I always look at that and I say, look at the value of what you about to go out there and do, because tomorrow we'll be celebrating, Lord willing, Father's Day. And, I got 2 little ones that depend on me. And so my thing is, I don't want to check out of here earlier than I'm supposed to. And, God looking at you like, well, man, you could have been here another 10. You could have been another 30. But, the way he was going is kind of like, but so I always try to make changes, because now I can see the light towards that 5-0 mark. It's around the corner. And once you get to that side of things, I used to think that was old. Now that I'm almost there, I'm like, dang, what do I say now? I can't say Hey, I'm old.
Can't say that now.
Yeah, you can't say that now. Now you got to be. I always go down the wine aisle and I see the years that's on there: 1997, 1991, and you know those things. So the longer that thing is fermented, you know, and aged, the better tasting it is, and everything. So I try to look at it like that. Like, be like the wine that's out there and live your best life, but make sure you are what you're eating, and you're not eating the foolishness every day like we once were in our 20s and teens. Now that we close to the other side, it's like you want to live a healthier lifestyle. So I'm making it more lifestyle now.
I love that. Yeah, lifestyle changes is where it's at, because then you don't have to get off nothing because you're doing it every day. I'll go in a different direction as far as the health. For me right now, I'm just in a real season of protecting my peace. And so for that, for me, for the health piece, just make sure that you're taking care of yourself in terms of your own mental state, right? So many times people try to put their issues and burdens on you. And so regardless if it's people not stepping up to the plate as far as caregiving or whatever the case may be, just make sure that you set boundaries. You understand that you have your own standards, and do not allow people to make you feel guilty for upholding your boundaries and your standards. If you don't want to do it, say no. Protect your peace, protect your time, protect your mental space. Because if people can put their burdens on you, they most definitely will. So that's what I got for the health piece for today. Take care of you. Self-care is just as important as what you put in your body. Stress will kill you.
That's true.
Eliminate it when at all possible.
It's been so serious. Gotta give people something lighthearted. I thought I was running all my errands Friday. I had to go to UPS store in Ferndale. And I'm like, I ain't never been over here before.
That's the spot.
They had the cookie plug, they sell cookies.
Yep.
A Pizza Hut, a Jimmy John, and the
everything in the plaza
was just like, Jeff, what's happening? I'm like, oh my goodness.
He was trying to slut it out again, huh?
Man, I want to put my pumps up and start slutty. Who was calling like, oh my God, no. Drop that package off and get the hell out of here. We're not going to do it. We come too far. I even ate some sugar-free ice cream cookies just to get that fix. Like, this tastes terrible. just roll with the peanuts, Jeff, and cashews. Call it good. Thriller's gone, man. But boy, I was tempted like that much. Like, oh, that smells so good. Nope, we ain't gonna do it. No slutty. Don't do it. So if y'all tempted out there, walk away. You can do it. And I was a huge junk food slut. If I could do it, you could do it. Just walk away. I leave little donuts.
He said, I walk it out. I walk it out.
Mm-hmm.
You walk right on past there.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Happy Father's Day.
Hey, I started finding myself walking on. No, you just right here. Not that door, this one. Like, oh, okay. No, don't go there. But we definitely hope all the fathers enjoy their Father's Day tomorrow. And the ones who don't, try to remember the fond memories you have of them. Watch this episode. This should probably help you. You know, season 5, which I'm blessed. I got the people. I kept saying, like, okay, I know I'm going to have the people I need to be doing this. I don't know who, but I'm going to have them do it. And through the grace of God, got people. Appreciate y'all rocking with me. And we're going to keep this thing going for season 5. We keep it. There ain't no number for it we keep because that's how grown it is. We ain't got nothing for it. You want to have grown conversation, drink on whatever you drink at the crib, you're going to hear some real conversation people.
Did we get to eat too? I was like so hungry.
Hey, eat, drink, you at your crib. I had to take my instant shot, eat me some little food. Like, all right, I'm doing a little workout real quick.
Bro, you feel
workout? Yeah, I ain't got y'all no lock up, no house in the cot. Pelican Bay. You ain't got no shoe program going on.
Pelican Bay.
You at your crib. If you want to eat, you can eat your food.
Listen.
I want you comfortable to give me your take on whatever you're talking about.
All right, I'm like, I don't know. We are streaming, so I ain't want to just like munch down.
Smash Burger 3000.
Like this girl grimy, like she just gonna eat on the camera. Like,
hey, the first lady of the show, Terry, once was getting her hair done. We was doing the show. I was like, that's my dog. She rocking with your boy.
Hey, kid, you gotta watch.
No, we're gonna do it.
You gotta watch. When Jeff get on there on Friday nights, watch the recap what he do with my cousin. Like them two be going at it. I'm talking about. She a registered nurse, but when I tell you she come on there, whatever she on from work, that's what she gonna be on. If it's wine, if she gotta eat, she had ate all day. So Jeff like, I know you ain't eating.
Marte do her thing, and y'all part of the Middle Ground family. If you want to be on the sports show, you're welcome. I mean, she had the nerve to say to me yesterday, "Jeff, you coming kind of hard nowadays on stuff." Because I said, you know what? After looking at this terrible NBA product, they need an age limit 21, so you can learn how to play basketball over there. I don't want a bad ticket and watch you be stupid for 4 years and figure it out. No, I pay. That's what college is for. Get the fundamentals over there. Then come to the pros. She's like, dang, Jeff, I'm an independent with conservative and liberal views. I might feel a little more Republican-like right now because there's too much bull jab going on out here. And all the money y'all Negroes making, and you crying about the fans, like, man, why don't y'all get mollywop talking that bull jab?
Yeah. Hey,
and you can't do your fundamentals. But that's a show where I'm not serious. So disclaimer now.
Listen,
you know, we have 7 countries rocking with this one, 40 for the interview, 7 for the sport. That flagship interview, that's grown, sexy, mature, ministry, all that. Sports Lounge, we're gonna be sportsmen. We're gonna talk trash.
Sound good to me. Well, listen, I want to give would it say the last words?
Yeah.
The last words of the night. Listen,
okay.
Happy Father's Day to all the fathers, all the father figures, to the uncles, the coaches, the teachers, the mentors. Happy Father's Day to each and every one. The grandparents, the parents, the surrogates, right? Same way as I did with my mothers. You all are appreciated. If you pouring into a young person, happy Father's Day to you.
We appreciate that. Same here. I say happy Father's Day to all of the men out there. We salute y'all. Like she said, the coaches, you know, the uncles, the brothers, the dads, the bonus dads, everyone out there that's chipping. It takes a village, you know, to do those things. And folks like Jeff and I, who lost, you know, our fathers years ago, as whether it was yesterday or years ago, the pain is still the same. You know, the hurt that you are going through, you know, the isolation that you may be dealing with, the depression you may be dealing with, the anger that you may be dealing with, that's all part of the grieving process. But I always find it amazing that none of those grieving stages encourages you to cry. And so, like Jeff said earlier, it's okay to cry. You know, it's funny because I'll say this, and I know it'd be serious on here a lot of times, but I'm saying this to be serious and funny. But I can talk to Jeff off camera, and we actually say, I love you on the phone. And it's not something where you got to say no diddy. And it's a lot of brothers I do that with, because at the end of the day, you have to know that it's okay to tell somebody you love them, because again, if something happens to you, you know, what are you gonna say? You're gonna sit there and be like Jeff said something earlier that it blew my mind when he said that. Like, hey, you know, I can't remember if I heard him say, I love you. And it's because that generation, that's what they were taught. You know, they didn't hear that from their fathers, their grandfathers. And so that thing is real, man, when it comes to hearing that I love you word, man. And the squad, yes, sir. What up, though, to everybody up there in the D and all over the map?
I had to put it up there. Like,
we had 2 homegirls that rock with us. Because we wasn't not everybody can hang with our crew.
Y'all
Not everybody
without us.
Not everybody can hang with our crew. Nikki and Kid was the only two that could really hang with us and get everybody right. You know, they knew how to make sure they held their own, you know what I'm saying, and be respected as ladies as well as be roasted just like everybody else, you know.
Everybody else, that's right.
Yeah, they would.
Thug life, squad life, faux life.
Yeah. Yeah, you always hear, man, bump y'all H squad life. There you go. But y'all here at the all you eat spot hang with, but bump the squad though. Like, okay.
Yeah.
So
that's right. Because y'all get to talking trash and we had to bring y'all back down. I don't know where all of this was at. Like, bump that squad, man. Ain't nobody trying to hear that, man.
It was so funny, man. Like you knew as soon as you came in there, like, oh, here we go.
Yep. Y'all see us pop in like, oh, yeah, that's right.
They're like,
we're
man,
here.
Damn, here they go. Here they go. You know, my last words would be, because hey, I'm real last. I'm a capitalist. I have a book coming out, anthology, next week. Unsnapped Men's Edition is talking about how do you help men deal with chaos and complications of stress of life. So my title, my chapter is When You're Going Through the Fire, Get Molded, Not Burned. Just give y'all a tidbit, because go get it. Father's Day gift or whoever, because sometimes you want to pop off and you don't need to. So I reference a conversation me and my mom had when I turned 17 in 96. And she told me, well, you know, you died at birth. I'm like, I'm Jesus? What you talking about? They had a biblical cord wrapped around the throat 3 times. You died for 5 minutes. And I'm like, dang, I must be something I got to do. God brought me back. What the world? And it leads on to, for me, to what was a moment where I really dealt with chaos. And that's when I went through my separation. And I told my mom earlier, I had her dying last night, but I'll tell you on camera because I wasn't bound to shout. I was looking, okay, you do it God's way. You know, play by the rules. Stuff ain't working, and if for you wrong, you're gonna be this, man. What the hell? I just need to, my dad was a pimp before he was a pass. He had 400 out there. I could do 402. You know, stop being a good guy, Jeff. He keep telling you that. Go on, just be worse than the devil and Darth Vader and see what's happening. And I was like, you know what? That's the mission. Y'all want to play with your boy? You gonna know who I am. But God needed me doing this. And our squad member Kurt hit me up like, "What up, Jeff?" Like, Kurt, I heard this dude in a minute. At that moment, I was enraged. More like, yeah, I'm about to build these hoes. Net, y'all dudes think y'all out here. Y'all, you ain't. I'm gonna be. Shit ain't the word for what I'm about to be. And he like, Jeff, you know, I mean, we used to do the Bible study. Like, yeah, I got baptized because of that. I just felt led to call it. I just started laughing. Like, I told him what happened. Like, see, God don't want you to go to the dark side, Jeff. Like, dude, I ain't gonna hold you. This first ever in my life, like, I always been like, whatever you go through, don't let that change you. Stay you. You know, isolate yourself, get your music so you can be you for a new situation. But at that moment in time, I was like, Thanos, he ain't got nothing on me. Whoever you think of ain't got nothing on me. Nope. I'll crash out at the word of how I'm
training day.
When you say my name, I hate that dude. Like, yeah, job well done. I've been a nice guy. Y'all want to keep playing with me? We're going to play. And he died laughing like, nah, man, we're going to get in his word. And we did Bible study while I restarted my whole middle ground stuff until October 21. And the rage started leaving. So, yes, I'm not so happy-go-lucky. I be want to punch people in the throat.
Yeah.
But I love women too much. Ain't none in prison. So I'm saying this as a kid. Ain't no point to do that. I don't want to look at dudes all day. What the hell? No.
Yeah.
So get this book. It'll help you. And I'm pretty sure y'all watching this like this dude crazy. That's the point. I hope I made your night. Share this episode. Keep tuning in. Appreciate. I posted about the show in the book, and that went like 1,000 views on Instagram. So keep rocking with us. There's gonna be more great stuff coming. Y'all have a great night. Appreciate y'all.
And happy Father's
Till
Day.
next time.
See y'all.
Father's Day.